What's good, everybody? This is King Ju here at y'all with another episode of King Ju Talks. Today, I'm going to get a little more serious with our topic. Today, I want to talk about us. And when I say us, I mean us as a community, us as a society, and us as a culture. So, without further ado, sit back, grab a snack, and let's chat. Now, before I get into what I want to talk about today, in no way am I degrading anybody or downing anyone or passing judgment to anyone. Today, I want us to do better. I want us to be better. I want us to start taking accountability and start making a better life for ourselves and a better future for the next generations to come. So with all that being said, I asked this question on my Instagram toward the beginning of me opening this podcast. And the question read, what can we do to improve as black people? And there were two comments that I want to touch on specifically. One of them said, stop putting each other down. And the other said, discuss breaking generational curses and the health hazards slash diseases that us as black people are more prone to getting. So let's start with the first comment. The first one, like I said, it said, let's stop pulling each other down. And I'm going to add to that, and let's also stop hating on each other. And I'm going to I'm going to try to separate this into two genres, one for the ladies and one for the guys. Starting with the ladies first. When you think about let's not pulling each other down, let's stop hating on each other. This is some of the things that I've noticed, especially with our black women. Unfortunately, the word bitch has kind of been more or less sculptured or molded. Okay, I'm not liking this background stuff at all. Uh let's see. Hold on. One second. I'm not liking what this background thing is doing right now. I might just have to deal with it though. Let's see. Okay, that's a little bit better. All right, getting back on track. The word bitch is by definition is a female dog, walks on four legs. It's been kind of molded into a term of endearment, more specifically amongst, our sisters. And honestly, I mean, to each his own. I'm not gonna get too deep into that because that's something we can talk about on a different level, or maybe my listeners can chime in on that better than I can. But just from what I see, I personally think it's kind of weird in a way to use a degrading term to greet your fellow, your friend or whatever. Not only that, it's kind of weird to me that you guys kind of want respect so much. Like everybody wants respect, obviously, that's a given. But in my opinion, if you can't expect to get respect from someone else when you can't even respect yourself. Like, and when I say that, I mean, like I said, you guys kind of turned the word bitch into a term of endearment. Y'all refer to each other as bitches. Y'all refer to yourselves as bitches. You guys are not bitches. Like, y'all are women. Y'all are black women first, not bitches. But in any case, like I said, to each his own. Y'all are still gonna call each other that regardless. I mean, it is what it is, just from what I've seen. You can't expect respect from anyone else, especially men, if you guys don't respect yourselves. You guys, like I said, let's cut down on that, and then maybe, you know, it'll be a little bit easier. And I don't mean, hopefully that didn't come out as wrong. Hopefully that didn't come out the wrong way, but we're basically what I'm saying is you can plead a better case for wanting respect from someone else if you show yourself the respect. Basically, show yourself the respect that you want someone else to show you, if that makes sense. In any case, let's move on. Got my notes here. I gotta stay on track. Otherwise, I start rambling and all that good stuff. I ain't trying to do that. More specifically, and I'm gonna give a more recent example to why I feel this way. Y'all know your girl cooking with Kaya that you know gained her traction, got viral, and gained her popularity last year. When she became, a hot commodity, it was mostly women that I saw were really hating on her. Honestly, I don't really understand why. I mean, I want to say it's jealousy, insecurities, maybe so. I don't know, but I really think that was just kind of messed up on you guys' part. The way that y'all were calling her name, saying that, oh, I got friends that do the same thing and look better and cook better. or saying, "Oh, she can't take my man," and this and that. When obviously y'all know that wasn't the case. Like that was just her little catchphrase or whatever the fuck. Kind of like mine is, sit back, grab a snack, let's chat. That was her little thing. I mean, she wasn't hurting anybody. And this is before all of that streaming university nonsense. Now I'm not speaking on that now, but this is just from what I've seen before all of that transpired. And it just was kind of, I wasn't gonna say it was disheartening, but it was disappointing to see the amount of hate that she got really for no reason. Now, let's see. And fellas, y'all ain't out to clear either. I'm gonna get on this in a second. And I don't want nobody, ladies, I don't want y'all thinking that this is a man versus woman thing, because as I said before, I'm not doing that on this podcast. This is simply us taking accountability for what we do and empowerment and making a better us. So just keep that in mind. See, I don't want to get too deep into this because there's kind of a soft spot for this, but what I am gonna say is outside of the aforementioned cooking with Kaya and everything else that I talked about before, I've seen a lot of instances where women, you guys like to use each other. Y'all hate on each other for no reason. Y'all hate on us. Y'all make our lives miserable for whatever reason because the relationship failed. I really don't know. Like I said, I'm not gonna talk too much on that because that's a sensitive topic. Maybe that can be for another episode. But again, this is just things that I've seen, things that I've heard, some of the things I've been through, to be honest with you. I mean, I haven't been through the bitter baby mama thing because, I mean, obviously I'm married, but I've been through it to where women have lied on me to make me look bad and to kind of make my life miserable. It didn't work, obviously, but again, I've seen it. I've seen it. I've been through it. I've heard about it. I've watched it, not only through me, through friends of mine as well who have gone through the same thing, maybe different instances, but have gone through similar situations. All right, let's see what we got here. That really comes down to insecurities that are had for some. Yeah, and all right, so this comment says that really comes down to the insecurities that some women had. And this is going back to the cooking with Kai thing. And yeah, it was. It was just insecurities because I remember one time she was like, you better cook that man something or I'm gonna cook for him or I'll take him. Something like that. Something, pet play or whatever the fuck. And a lot of women that I saw that were commenting on that, they really took that shit to heart and they took it way more seriously than they should have. It wasn't meant to be taken serious. So why are you talking about, oh, you can't never, bitch, you can't ever take my man, or, things like that. It wasn't necessary. The hate that she got and the hate that women showed her, the hate that women show each other on a daily basis is it's unnecessary. Like y'all, if y'all were to stop using each other and came together as a collective unit, like the amount of things that y'all can get done and the amount of damage that y'all can do in a good sense that is to the world, like the potential is unlimited. But y'all have to find it in yourselves and just stop settling for different things that don't really, appeal to you. And another thing that I'm gonna talk about, and this will kind of lead me into the fellas too. The music that our kids are listening to and the music that we listen to, honestly, I get that it's for entertainment, and in no way am I down in any of the artists. Some of these artists I have listened to in the past too. I mean, you got your Sexy Reds, your Sukihanas, Gorillas, Idols, and whoever else, and it's just all of that music is self degrading. Everything is like, oh, either something dealing with money, with some sort of sexual act, or some sort of drugs. I mean, when you think about women back in the past, like Lauryn Hill and Queen Latifah and Shell, even what's her name? That I mean, they got MC Missy Elliott. You got women like her that actually it wasn't really well. It's hard to say. I'm not gonna say it wasn't degrading, but it's definitely what isn't on the level that it is now. Like Queen Latifah and Lauryn Hill, they weren't really about that kind of stuff. Missy Elliott, she has her moments too. It's not bad to make grown people music, but it's just when that's all you talk about, it starts to become kind of it's very repetitive and it starts to look bad on your character. And not only that, and again, I'm not degrading Sexy Red in any way. But what made it worse for her is her character that she portrays, and that what was that lipstick line or lip gloss line that she came out with. I'm not gonna go over that because no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, that lipstick line that she released is just everything that ties together is so degrading to us as Black people. She degrades herself, and our children are looking up to this kind of shit. Like, I don't, okay, yeah, I don't get it. But fellas, let's talk about y'all for a minute. Staying on this music shit. Now, as I just said, the women are making self-degrading music, but at the same time, we have made music that degrades women since the beginning of rap. And it starts with, I mean, Tupac has done it. Lil Wayne has done it. The best artists have all done it. And again, I get it's entertainment and I get that. And I'm not degrading anybody, but different things like that, the music that we look up to and the artists that we look up to are not good for us. Like, they're not good for us. They're not good for our future generations. And this is the shit that the media wants because this is the shit that the masses want. So as long as it's in demand, it's gonna keep getting produced. Same new artists rap about the same shit, degrading black women, shooting each other, hating on each other. It's never positive. It's always, well, let me take that back. 95% of the music, at least, is all degrading. Like, it's not all degrading, all negative, and it's kind of a downer, honestly. It really is. I mean, again, I listen to it, but at the same time, it's like I don't live my life by that kind of shit. You have our young boys out here, and no pun intended, our younger men out here are living via NBA YoungBoy. Like, a lot of our a lot of our future generation, they look up to people like him because they feel like they can relate to him. Okay, and I say that to say this: nobody forces you to be in that kind of lifestyle that NBA YoungBoy is in. His life is full of negativity, constantly in jail for some shit, or doped up on something. And this is the person that a lot of y'all look up to. And if you feel like this is an uncomfortable conversation, good. It should fucking be. A lot of you guys look up to this type of shit. Y'all look up to the young boys. Y'all thinking that anybody could do it. So you get on SoundCloud and you make these stupid trash ass songs that still degrade each other, that still degrade our women. And just the cycle just continues. I'm not gonna talk about the music too much more. I know I've talked about it a lot, but I say that to say this before I move on to a couple of other points that I had. It all starts with us, and I'm gonna probably say this at the end of this stream too. It really all starts with us. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can be doing better that we choose not to do because we're content with the lives that we live in. And nobody should ever be content with the life that they're in. If there's always a way to improve your life, you should always be looking for the way to improve. You should always be looking for how can I make a difference in my community instead of just sitting there and bitching about it without doing anything about it. And that's why I feel like, and where I come in at, this is why I use my voice to do this kind of stuff. The way I can hopefully reach a different audience to kind of motivate them, not persuade, but motivate. So, all in all, it really starts with us, and there's different. Let's figure out the way to stop. Let's stop hating on each other. Let's stop pulling each other down. Let's come together because united we do fall. I mean, united we do stand. That's without a doubt. Let's move on to the next couple of points that I wanted to. I'm going to touch on a couple of other points that I have right here in my notes. Again, that's how I stay on track. Don't fucking judge me. There are a couple of things that I'm going to touch on real briefly. I'm not going to get too deep into it because, like I said, that could be getting more in depth with these, can be another episode. Not this one, though. The first thing I want to touch on is our educational system. Now, I understand that there is not as much we can do about that, but at the same time, there is a lot that we can do about that. But again, we just choose not to. It's no secret that in public schools, charter schools, whatever school you're at, there's a particular curriculum that every grade has to stick by. Otherwise, whatever, I don't know. But the unfortunate reality of those curriculums is the fact that they only teach them the bare minimum of really anything, more specifically history. They teach them this whitewash bullshit. But with any subject, really, there's a lot more that can be learned about said subject. But let's focus more on Black history. Now, again, like I said, history nowadays is called, well, when I was in school, it was called social studies, which I don't honestly know why. And then once I got into high school, it became like African American history, which unfortunately we had a football coach teaching that. So we didn't learn literally anything. And then there's economics and things like that, which again, I mean, we learned some, but we're really not a lot. And I'm just being completely honest. Back when I was in high school, we didn't really learn a lot. There was a select few teachers that really taught us really good. The rest of them, they was just there for a paycheck, honestly. But I blame that on the school I went to. But I digress. Back to the topic at hand. Now, there's a lot of things that our children don't know because either we don't know it because we weren't taught it, obviously, or because the school they're going to doesn't teach it. And that's another thing that cycle continues as well. Like they're going to continue to force feed the whitewash history to our black children, not realizing, or well, honestly, I know the teachers probably don't realize it, but I know a lot of people don't really give a shit that a lot that happened, they only really touch on what made those white folks look good instead of what they really were about. Like, for example, it's been everybody says that, oh, Abraham Lincoln, he abolished slavery when that's not the case. That's really wasn't the case at all. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't want to abolish slavery. I don't know if I correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, he's basically being praised for the complete opposite of the way he really was. If that sounds confusing, well, just let me know if that sounds confusing. Moving on. Mentorships, we have to mentor these young kids, and that falls on us as an older generation because these younger kids they're lost. They don't really know, they don't have anybody to turn to, so they turn to what they see in music, what they see on TV, social media, and they turn to what's out there in the streets. Me personally, I did not grow up like that. I didn't have that kind of upbringing. Therefore, I wasn't forced into that lifestyle. Therefore, I don't plan on being a part of that lifestyle, especially not now because I have a wife and a fucking daughter. But to the younger kids, the ones that it really starts, it's so unfortunate. It starts as young as got sometimes 9 and 10 years old. You got kids like I forgot what that little boy name was. Little something. He was on that stupid ass pop the balloon shit. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, damn, this little boy, he cursing like he grown, like he talking slang like he grown, and these women are just feeding into the shit. And I just really thought that was just some of the saddest shit I've seen in a minute. Like there should be no reason why the hood mentality should be reaching kids as young as 10 years old. The fact that it's a mentality at all is sad in itself, but the fact that it's reaching kids at such a young age is it's really disheartening. And it's probably gonna get worse over the years unless we figure out a way to make the shit better, until we take the initiative to say, hey, hood mentality is not it's not something to be glorified. It's affecting our children. It's gonna affect our children's children, our children's children's children. It's affecting our friends. It's affecting our society, our towns. It's affecting everything. And I don't understand why people glorify it so much. I feel like people that weren't in it are the ones that really glorify it, because some of the people that I know that grew up in the hood, they weren't trying to be in the hood. Like they made it out, or that worst case, I mean, all in all, they don't glorify it like a lot of people that I see do. But as I said, we have to be a mentor for these kids. We have to show them what's right, what's wrong, teach them something that obviously their own fathers couldn't, because for whatever the case may be, he's not there. Maybe he's met an unfortunate ending due to the hood mentality. Maybe he's locked up, whatever the case may be, because it starts with the father. If the father isn't, your son is going to follow in your footsteps. He's going to look up to you. And with the women as well, but more so for, our little black boys. And I'm going to transport back over to our women in a second to talk about our black girls. But for our black boys, they follow in our footsteps. They look up to us. They're products of their environment. So if the environment around them is filled with negativity and drama and whatever the case may be, that's what they're going to look into, because they don't know anything else. And it's up to us to teach them that there's more than just waking up, going to school, going home, and that's it. Or if you're not in school, waking up, doing whatever you do, and that's it. There's more to life than just doing that. And there's more to life than selling dope to just make a quick buck, or riding around and with your whips out, or your straps or whatever, your guns. There's more to life than just that. And it's not all that it's cracked up to be, because when people say that the lifestyles that these kids live, you're only going to end up in two places, either in jail or dead. That's true. Like we're all even though none of us are gonna be on earth forever. I would rather live as long as I can without having to worry about that than to go out every day and it not be guaranteed that I'm gonna make it home that day. So that's on that. The next thing I want to look into is financial literacy and investing in Black businesses. Starting with financial literacy, there's a lot of financial aspects that a lot of our really, and this isn't just our kids, this is us too. There's a lot of things that we weren't taught in school because these schools are not teaching financial literacy. They're only teaching the bare minimum, and financial literacy is not a part of that. Teach everybody about, hey, bank accounts, savings accounts, stocks and bonds, anything that can bring in passive income, because otherwise you're going to basically build a whole bunch of debt because nobody taught you that, hey, you have this credit card that, yeah, they give you money to spend on it, but there's a way you have to do that. Like, you have to keep your utilization ideally should be under, I think it's 3% or something like that. So meaning you should not be spending more than 3% of your available credit. So, for example, if you have a credit card that, excuse me, if you have a credit card that has $100 spending limit on it, well, a good spending budget on that is $3. And I'm only saying that as an example. I mean, there's higher limits out there, of course, but this is just something that it's easier to do. It's easier to do the math with that. Yeah, let's teach our kids about uh promoting financial freedoms. That way you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. You don't have to depend on governmental assistance because you're in debt for something else, or you don't have to pay back student loans because you're in debt because these people told you that, hey, you can pay off this and that, but they don't get into the fact that even if you get, hold on, under 30%. Okay, yeah, under 30%. You're right. You're right. So if you have a credit card that's $100, you shouldn't spend no more than $30. Yeah, thank you for correcting me on that one. But in any case, where was I at? Yes, yes, yes. The financial freedom. That way they don't have to, spend the rest of their lives paying back student loans. You only got 50,000 in student loans, but you find yourself paying back hundreds of thousands of it because of interest, because nobody taught you about interest. Signing that car note, or that house note, that with that vehicle being valued at $20,000, but you have an APR, which is an annual percentage rate of 50%, and now you're paying $30,000 in a car instead of 20,000. Which, if I did the right wrong on that, I apologize. But in any case, you're still paying way more than what the hell the car is worth, and that's another thing that people don't understand, that percentage rates and like APR, things like that, those are very important when it comes to making financial decisions. You have to look at that kind of stuff. And that has to be something that let's help each other out with that, because a lot of us, even not just for our kids, but even us as parents and even our parents, they might not know as much about it either. Let's research that. Let's look into things like that. Let's build trust funds for our kids down the line. Let's invest money into banks, or hell, hide your money under the mattress like my great grandmother did, or whoever. Banks aren't always to be trusted. You might want to invest in something else. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, it's better to teach each other and our kids the smart way to use money, and not to spend it just because you have it. You don't need XYZ when you have bills due, or if you want to invest in your future, you don't need to buy XYZ right now. Let that wait, or just save some more money. Discipline is the biggest thing. Switching over to Black businesses. So as far as the Black businesses are concerned, I think that we really should try to invest in more of our Black businesses, more specifically our food vendors. Well, really anybody for that matter, but our food vendors. Um, Damn, that was somebody else. Oh, our photographers, our clothing vendors. You have like World Envision, Melanin Photography LLC, which is who we personally use as our photographer. I'll leave her information as well. Food vendors. I mean, although I'm not really that big a fan of them, you have the Nola Baby food truck, you have Weedettes, you have different things like that. Nice Guys. I mean, even though, yeah, a lot of people don't really care for it, I personally don't care for it, but I mean, Nice Guys, Moros, different Black-owned businesses like that. But at the same time, on the flip side, Black businesses, let's not charge $20 for one plate of food and $5 for some glorified Kool-Aid. Like, let's be fair at the same time. Let's not, and that goes back into using each other and just kind of messing over each other. That's something that I feel like that's a little greedy at the end of the day. I get that, we're not corporations, therefore we have to charge more than, anybody else. But at the same time, there's a way to do that. Moving on. This is another big one: collaboration over competition. And like I said before, we have to stick together. Let's, you know, come together. Let's work together. Let's stop using each other as stepping stools to get to where we want to be to. And then looking back at somebody and laughing at them because they're not there. Goes without saying also mental health. I had an entire episode on that on men's mental health, but it goes without saying, not only men, just women, take the time out, invest in your mental health. And mental health isn't just mentality, it's physically too. Take care of your body, go to the gym, run, get yourself back in shape. All of that plays a part in having good mental health, believe it or not. Let's see. Now, this is how do I want to work my way into this one? Now, I know I said that I wasn't going to do anything political, so therefore I'm not going to dive too much into this, but it does need to be said. We have to encourage voting amongst ourselves. We have to let's stop having this mentality of neither one of them deserve my vote because you don't like neither one of them, and then complain when the more evil of the two get into office. I'm not gonna name any names, but let's have more of those political conversations, which I'm not gonna have on this channel, but in our society, let's have more of these political conversations. Let's let them know that hey, the rules set and starting at the top in the entire country, states, cities, towns, everything from the top down to the bottom. Your vote matters. And if you don't like the way something is in your specific town or wherever you may be, it starts at the voting ballots. That you're not going to make a change, without getting out and doing it. Like I said, I'm not going to get too much into that, but that's honestly one of the biggest points. We have to really start getting out and voting and just, we have to just stop sitting on our asses doing nothing, bitching about whoever's running, not voting, and then complaining about whoever won. Because you have no room to complain about whoever won if you didn't cast your vote. Simple as that. Moving on. Of course, confronting systemic racism, that kind of also goes hand in hand with getting out and voting because, again, systemic racism comes from the system, which is ran by the government. That's not going to get too much into that one. I don't want to get canceled my damn self. We're going to talk about that one another time. Let's move on to the next one. The other big one that I want to touch on is creating safe spaces for our people that don't necessarily fit the bullshit norm that's been placed. And when I say that, I mean, let's create safe spaces for, the ones that have the mental struggles, Black women, Black men as fathers, Black men in general, Black women as mothers, the LGBTQ plus community, and, everything in between. There should be a safe space for everyone to be able to express themselves without the fear of either being judged or unfortunately being harmed, physically harmed. Because you guys have seen too in stories and news articles, people killing each other because they feel like, oh, I don't fuck with gay people, so he can't come to me, or whoop. Just because somebody likes the same sex doesn't mean that they're interested in you. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I don't really care for that stigma. I really don't. I think it's unfortunate that it's gotten to a point where people are so afraid of homosexuality that they'll literally risk their life to not be around it, which I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird to me, but whatever. And it's unhealthy too. Like it needs to stop. In my opinion, I think that's something that really needs to stop. So with all that being said, I think I've pretty much gotten my major points across. Like I said, I don't think I want to get too much into the systemic racism thing. I think that could really be its own episode. Uh, let's see. We touched on mental health, well, mental and physical health. One more thing that I want to touch on too. You know what? No, that's okay. Let's get into the last point, and then that'll be it for the day. The last comment that I wanted to get into is breaking generational curses and teaching our kids about different health issues that either we have, someone in our family line have had, or something that us as Black people are more prone to contracting. Now, I'm going to start with generational trauma first. And I'm going to start with this question. When you see other races, when they have their families, your Asians and the Latinos, the Asians, Latinos, and hell, even white folks sometimes, but mostly the Asian community, Vietnamese community, and the Latinos. Typically, when I see them myself, there's a house, ice-size house, and they basically make a nest for their children. They keep them in as close as they can until they're ready. That way, when they do leave, when they do set them free and their kids do move out, they don't have to come back because they're already well established and they don't, you know, they know what they're doing. Whereas in our community, black people, oh, you got to be gone by 18. You can leave now. So my question is, and I feel like this is more of the generations that came before us. I really want to know why is there why is it so normalized to want to kick your kids out of your house when they turn 18? Or if not that, basically turn them into your roommate instead of your child. And honestly, it starts even earlier than that. I mean, kids when they get to working, parents want to charge them rent and things like that. And I get the fact that you want your kids to have a sense of appreciation for work and hard work and earning their own money. I want that for my daughter as well. But at the same time, I'm not going to charge my daughter rent when she gets her job. I'm just not going to do it. I mean, it's just not me. And if I were to do it, it would go into a savings account that she would get back when she was ready to move out. Way she hell, if I got 10 bands racked up from her paying us rent or whatever, paying whatever bills, and she has her 10,000, hey baby girl, look, I got a surprise for you. She got access to a whole nother $10,000. Things like that I can get behind. But just charging your kids rent or charging them, making them pay bills just because you don't want to. Not that you can't, you just don't want to. I think that's you're using your kids for a check instead of actually loving them like you should. And it really starts with, I want to say it really starts with I can get behind it. Yeah, yeah. I think that I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it with my daughter. I know when she's getting ready to get her own job, well, shit, that's 15 years down, 15, 16 years down the line. But I think that's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to probably, if I do charge her anything, it's probably going to be like $200 a month at max. And then instead of me spending it on myself, I'm going to just put it to the side for her. That way she can have it when she's ready to move out, and then she'll have her furniture money. I mean, shit, she'll be good. She'll be ready. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Like, as far as in our community, we're so ready to just kick our kids out without any sort of guidance or any sort of like plan for them, instead of helping them out and saying, hey, you stay here as long as you want. Shit is expensive nowadays, especially the housing market now. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it is absolute ass. And they kicked them out without any plan. Like, oh, you're 18 now, you can figure it out. But that's the thing, they can't. Nobody can figure it out overnight just because they turn from 17 years of age to 18 years of age. Nobody figures it out overnight. But in any case, I also want to touch on this stigma that if you struggle, your kids are going to struggle. Now, I've actually seen this myself. I forgot what it was on some TikTok, and this guy was like, I struggled, so my kids are going to have to struggle too. And to that, I say that's a load of bullshit. I really do. I don't think you deserve to have kids. I'm sorry. If it's negative, so be it. I mean, hey, it is what it is. But I can't respect parents that force their children to struggle just because they had to struggle. And then not only that, it gets worse than that. Parents that, if they find that their kids are doing better than them, they will purposely try to sabotage them to make them feel like the way they felt during their upbringing. And I think that is the lowest of the low, to want to sabotage your own kids' success because you want them to be miserable like you were instead of them being happy. The struggle does not, success does not require struggle, and struggle does not equal success. If anything, it can equal success. I won't deny that, but it can also leave side effects of hell, everything that mental health people have. Hell, depression, anxiety, suicide. Like this is something that it's, for lack of a better term, I don't like it basically because I'm trying not to ramble because shit like this, I'm very passionate about stuff like this. So I try not to get too upset talking about this because I've seen it with my own eyes. Friends of mine that have gone through this shit. It's sad to me. But as far as generational curses, not only with the whole thing with wanting to charge your kids rent, is just different things that you've been through in your life, whatever trauma you've been through. Your kids don't deserve to get that. Like, you don't need to trauma dump on your kids because you had a hard upbringing or because you had mental health issues. So now, instead of you getting the help that you need, it becomes another cycle. And I know you guys have probably seen this video where there was a cup of liquid. It was like red liquid. And that red liquid symbolized generational trauma. And as this individual was pouring clear water into this red liquid, it became clearer and clearer, meaning that with every passing, whatever generation, that healing can transpire. That way, any trauma that I have, my daughter's not going to have because I'm healed from that trauma instead of me passing it down to her. Now, she not only has her own problems, she feels like she's a problem because I still can't get over my own problems. That's not fair to her. That's not fair to her. And that's not fair to my wife at the same either. With that being said, let's go into these health issues, and that's going to be the last point of the day. No, it's no secret that generation universal healthcare isn't the best. I mean, let's just be honest, it's shit. They only cover the bare minimum. It's almost required to have your own private insurance now to get any sort of care, especially if you have some sort of condition that isn't really classified or not classified, but if you have a condition that's not really normal or it's uncommon, basically, it's kind of hard for them. The different, let me see, how do I want to phrase this? The different health diseases that Black women are more prone to, such as ovarian cancer and breast cancer. Those conversations, they really should be had with our kids. We have to let them know that, hey, Black people as a whole are more prone to XYZ, and it's just genetic. And then not only that, Black people are more prone to health problems like obesity and diabetes and high blood pressure and high cholesterol because of the foods that we eat. And everything has to be fried nowadays. And I don't know if y'all been seeing, like, everything is deep fried Cheetos and deep fried Oreos and all this deep fried stuff, deep fried fish. Like, how do you deep fry fish that's already fried? I guarantee somebody has tried it before. But, I say that to say this, those conversations, as uncomfortable as they may be, as hard as they may be, they need to be had. And just going back to my personal life, with my daughter, she has her condition as well, and eventually that's gonna be something that me and my wife are gonna have to talk to her about because as of now, I mean, I doubt that she can't understand shit. I bet she understands everything that goes on. I know she understands everything that we tell her, but something like that with her condition, I think we'll definitely have to let her know about that and just kind of reassure her that no, it's nothing that you did. It can happen to anybody, and y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying her condition on the stream right now. Let's see. Let's look at some of these comments. I believe it's how the older generations were raised, and they didn't know any better. Yeah, going back to what I was talking about, the housing thing. Older generations, yeah, they were definitely raised differently, and that's the thing though. Like a lot of them, they don't embrace the change that comes with every year, every 5 years, whatever. They're stuck in their own 1980s world, and until they break that and leave that little bubble, like it's never gonna change. The housing market is definitely fucking terrible. That comes down to the parents having, yeah, narcissism because they're holding on to trauma that they haven't healed from. Instead of getting the help that they need, trauma dump. We need to discuss how some conditions are hereditary and some are environmental. Yeah, so basically what I was just saying as far as the environmental factors, it's not only the like you said, the environments that we live in, but it's also the food that we continue to push on our younger generations. Like I'm gonna give y'all a good example. That girl that sued Lyft, I think Dank something, Dank Demos, whatever the fuck that lady name is. I saw on social media something about, she said that, oh, every man likes a woman that is this something basically trying to make up an excuse for the size that she is and saying that it was wanted. And I commented and I said that she's gonna meet an unfortunate passing if she doesn't change her lifestyle. And I say that, and Miss Dank, if you ever see this stream later on down the line, I'm telling you now, I'm not degrading you, but I feel like if you don't change your lifestyle, that you're not gonna be around very long. And this body positivity thing, as much as I was for it, it became more notorious than anything because people were just preaching, oh, I can love myself for what I am. You can preach body positivity all you want, but at the same time you're sitting there with fucking cholesterol through the roof, high blood pressure. I mean, my nigga, you weigh more than a damn sofa. Like, that's not healthy, that's not positive. If you're going to promote body positivity, promote more gym workouts, promote real bodies instead of this fake shit that the BBLs and all of that stuff. And that's another thing I'm starting to see more women like that in my city with BBLs now, and I haven't seen that in a minute, but I'm starting to see it now. I saw she posted something online. Every man knows that this is a perfect. Yeah, it was something like that. It was basically, again, like I said, it was an excuse to try to say that she looked good, which honestly she doesn't. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to be messy, but she just doesn't. Like, she looks unhealthy. She looks uncomfortable. And even as far back as Lizzo, when she was promoting her body positivity, and just, I think they both are doing it the wrong way, in my opinion. But I'm not gonna touch on that too much more. That is. So with that being said, guys, just remember this: that our children. I'm gonna say this again: our children are our future. Therefore, we must make sure that we are present every single day of their lives so that the past does not repeat itself. I'm going to say it one more time. Our children are our future. So we must make sure that we are present right now. That way, the past does not repeat itself. That's all I got.